It's a fact of life that with every entertainment franchise there comes the black sheep, the one which people seem to look upon as inferior. Star Wars has the Phantom Menace, DC has Batman and Robin, and the Green Lantern, and Superman 4, and the Suicide Squad actually, now that I think. Okay, bad example. Indiana Jones has that one that stars Shia LaBeouf. The Transformers movies have, well, okay, I guess they all kind of suck, and they also kind of have Shia LaBeouf sometimes. Anyway, I'm getting off topic again here. Film franchises have the one movie that people agree is worse than the others, and the world of gaming is no different. Halo 3 ODST, Duke Nukem Forever, Resident Evil 6, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, The Legend of Zelda 2, and you know, those ones that the Game Grumps played on their channel and they were really bad. And any Sonic game since 2006, apart from that one, you know the one with the two Sonics and the people kind of liked it that one time, but you know, the rest of them kind of suck. Anyway, the point is that there is always the one thing that people consider to be worse than its surroundings, and today's game is no different. Welcome to How Bad Can It Be? Today we take a peek into the much beloved XCOM series, in particular the 2013 prequel to XCOM Enemy Unknown, The Bureau, XCOM Declassified, developed by 2K Marin, Australia and China, and published by 2K Games themselves. XCOM Declassified was given the gargantuan task of following the critically acclaimed reboot of the franchise, released just under a year prior. To some this may seem like no big deal. Build on what Enemy Unknown laid out and just rake in the money. The people over at 2K though wanted to deter from the path a little bit, which ultimately led to many fans wishing that the Bureau stayed classified. This is something very different for this series as a whole. Normally I play very obscure games, or games slightly before my time as an actual gamer, or someone who loves this industry. Researching these games and playing them, seeing the industry at the time of release if necessary to really understand the game. In the case of XCOM Declassified though, I don't need to. I lived through this. One of my best friends was stung by the hype of this game. I remember talking to him about the excitement. A new XCOM game? So soon? The thought got people watering at the mouth. So what is XCOM Declassified? Well, we'll be touching on that throughout this video, as the identity of this game is one of the biggest problems as a whole. One of the primary reasons that this game is looked upon so bitterly by fans and critics alike. The game takes place in the early 60s, 1962 to be exact. The Cold War is dominating the world as the USA and the Soviet Union continue to have their dick measuring contest, as there can only be one superpower in the world. Sounds kind of familiar. Prior to the events of the game, President John F. Kennedy authorized the creation of the Bureau of Strategic Emergency Command, intended to coordinate the US military forces in case of a Soviet invasion. The Bureau would be made up of a select group of military and non-military personnel, secretly contacted and informed to report there if an invasion were to happen. In the game, we play a CIA agent, William Carter. Agent Carter. Sounds kind of familiar to me. I don't know what it is, by the way, but this guy really reminds me of Charlie Sheen. And like, did they try to get Charlie Sheen and fail or something? But seriously, he looks a lot like Charlie Sheen. Anyway, Carter is dragged into this mess when a mission he is tasked on goes sideways to the beginning of the alien invasion. It turns out that the aliens have had operations on Earth for about 6 months, and have connections to the newly discovered Illurium, a super element and an XCOM staple. We discover that Carter's task was to deliver some of this Illurium to Director Falk, head of the Bureau, but with his prime objective being destroyed, his mission is now to ensure Falk's safety and escape the extraterrestrial nightmare that's unfolding. You escape and then go to the Bureau, which Falk then, for no reason whatsoever, renames to XCOM, finally linking the games together in more ways than just Illurium. The third last bit is something I'd like to discuss further too. This game is in like a weird limbo. It's trying to be both an XCOM game and something completely different at the same time. The links in storyline are awful. The Bureau is just renamed to XCOM for no real reason, and the presence of Illurium and knowledge of Illurium also makes no sense, as in Enemy Unknown they have to relearn what it can do. They're also completely unprepared for an alien attack in Enemy Unknown, which makes zero sense if this game is taking place long before it. If this game is set in the 60s, and the people in the government are making these Illurium-based weaponry, before the invasion, imagine what they could do after it, or even during it with those weapons that are left behind. Yeah, sure, those weapons in lore mostly explode, but we can pick them up and use them throughout the game, so it makes no sense for them to not take those weapons, study them, and when it comes time to the 2010s and the new invasion, why on earth are we not armed to the teeth, ready to tear some aliens in half? The gameplay, as you probably noticed, also falls into this purgatory of being both an XCOM game and not one at the same time. It takes away the fundamental part of every XCOM game. You're the commander, the eye in the sky, delivering orders to your men or women on the battlefield, matching the skill sets together, building bonds with them as you develop your own unique stories. The Bureau is a third-person shooter with some RTS elements, so you get the sense of command by being the guy who delivers the orders, but the system is very clunky and doesn't even freeze time for you, only slowing it down. The strategy layout is similar to XCOM, but you are playing a turn-based strategy there, having a lot of time to strategically think your way through difficult and tough situations that plague you throughout the game. You also play as characters who have their own stories already and also have their own skill sets, which honestly aren't even that exciting. I found myself using the same two guys all the time because their skill sets are just more effective than the others in my opinion. Agent Carter also has his own skills, being the support member of the team, which I thought was a decent touch, though having a healing ability be rechargeable instead of having the med kits just isn't right in my opinion. A similar kind of thing can be said about the ability Critical Strike. The Critical Strike ability has 100% hit accuracy. I used it whenever I could because it was so damn useful, just killing enemies or causing massive damage to larger enemies. To some this might strike them as, well yeah, it's to make the game easier with the third person perspective, but that's not the point. XCOM is brutal. Even when you play it on the easy mode, it's brutal. You are supposed to be on the back foot the entire time. Limited resources, limited people, one mistake and the aliens will tear you down and make your life a living hell, killing soldiers and crushing your attempts at saving the world each and every time. In this game, the struggle is rarely ever there. Ooh, my teammate got down by the alien. Not a problem, you can just revive him and he's perfectly fine, not completely useless. The biggest issue in my opinion? Being able to control Carter. Why? This allows for you to take control of the gun. That is not XCOM. There you have a percentage chance of hitting enemies, leading to some infuriating situations might I add. Like here you have the ability to aim and fire as you please. If you're a good enough shooter in these games, that basically means you're the most accurate son of a bitch to ever grace the earth and will be able to mow down pretty much everything. Putting all the XCOM links aside though, what do we have? A pretty decent sci-fi third-person shooter with okay but not great tactical elements. We have an amazing setting, the 60s, the height of the Cold War, and you play as characters from the CIA, military, government, and just badasses of the streets. It's a cool setting. The characters, or well, Carter, looks cool even though he still looks like Charlie Sheen. It could have easily been turned into a similar situation as the XCOM Enemy Within expansion, by having an actual Soviet invasion at the same time. Then you would have to deal with the aliens from the sky and the aliens from the east. This would have helped spice up the game a little bit, as I personally found myself getting quite bored quite often. Repetitive shooting segments against the same drone-like enemies, only a few of which have abilities. The only time it changes is when a boss character comes into the fray, and I say the word boss very loosely, because they're not really bosses, they just feel like bigger enemies, which is just kind of annoying. We also have these story segments which are honestly Mass Effect-like in layout, being able to find out more filler information for no reason whatsoever other than content. These segments don't even look that great, the animations are a little janky from time to time, and the Uncanny Valley is strong with this one. And it has some little mouth animation problems, it's not very good. Also, not to mention, on multiple occasions I had my game just suddenly skip on me. I'm not even kidding here, I don't know if I caught it on the footage, but I was in a cutscene listening to what the mission was about, and then boom! Into the start of the mission. Like, what the hell? The Bureau XCOM Declassified has genuinely divided my opinion. As a game, I had fun with it. It wasn't a masterpiece by any means, and I did have my problems with it, as you can probably tell. But that's perfectly forgivable. What isn't forgivable though is slapping the XCOM branding on this. This game is not an XCOM game. Not even close, and is considered to be the black sheep of at least the reboot franchise for good reason. The people at 2K clearly had another game in mind with this, perhaps just another third-person shooter in the works. My theory is that this game was meant to be called The Bureau, and you were supposed to play as Carter and the Soviet Union invades, leading you to go on missions attacking Soviet strongholds and taking back America. When the higher-ups saw this game after the success of Enemy Unknown, they thought, F it, slap XCOM on that, just to make more money. And it would explain why the game's third-person shooter elements are pretty tight and fun to play, whereas the links to XCOM and the strategy and story are far weaker. It's the fact that this game is an XCOM game that leads to so many people having a bad taste in their mouth. As a whole, this is a first for this series. I actually don't know whether I can recommend this game for its £15 price point, because the game is definitely worth that much as a package. You get enough content to justify the game being that price, and as I mentioned, it's not terrible function-wise. I can only really recommend this game though to those who like the XCOM franchise, and only then at a push, as once again, this isn't an XCOM game. Or at least as you hope for it to be. If you love the XCOM series, it might be worth staying away from this one though. A weird idea, I know, but it messes with the formula so much that you won't have a good time. I will say though, as of right now recording this video, this game is on sale for £3 on Steam. With the game being at that price, I can more than recommend picking up this game. It is more than a bargain to pick up a game like this for such a low price point. I guess that leaves me with one question though. The Bureau, XCOM Declassified, how bad can it be? The answer being not that bad if you're looking for a third-person shooter to play. If you're looking for an XCOM game to play on the other hand, this game is definitely not for you. It's pretty bad. And that's all I got time for today. I'd like to thank all of you for the continued support of this series since its fresh start a few weeks ago. It's been truly incredible to make these videos and to see the love that they have been receiving. It makes me so happy to see this, as this is the content I've wanted to make for years now, and I'm finally able to do it. This video was a little longer than usual, and I'm sorry if that bothers you. It probably won't happen too often, but I had a lot to say about this game in comparison to my usual videos, where I struggle to even write a script. If you did enjoy this video, why not give it a like and comment your thoughts and experiences with this game down below. The more opinions the better. If you enjoyed this series, hit that subscribe button and then maybe that little bell icon to get notified whenever this channel uploads. Also share me around. If you think to yourself, damn, my mate Terry would love these videos, let him know. What's the worst that could happen? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.